have or can build. You've used many of these skills in your personal life, in school and at work. Advocating for your issues just means learning how to take those skills and translate them into effective political participation, which means knowing how the system works and what tactics can help make a real difference. You just need to brush up on the basics and get focused. Because whether we realize it or not, we're already prioritizing day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute. We're making choices about what's important, what we should focus on, and what is valuable. Productive advocacy also means making your engagement feel sustainable and meaningful, even fun. Being an effective, engaged citizen is bigger than one president or one administration or election cycle. Maybe you've been telling yourself that you just don't do politics. But as my friend, former All In Together, AIT, colleague, and Obama White House staffer Simone Lero likes to say, you may not do politics, but politics will do you. Your lack of participation doesn't protect or prevent you from being impacted by politics. It just means you don't get a say in how you're impacted. Others who do participate, who do engage, who do advocate for their own interests will decide that for you. My own first foray into politics, you'll see in a moment that I'm using the term politics loosely, wasn't super promising. It was 1999. I was in 8th grade, and I was nominated by my classmates as a candidate for middle school student president. Looking back now, this was a genius, also evil, strategy on the school's part. I never would have thrown my own proverbial hat in the ring. But having been selected along with 3 of my classmates by our peers, I found myself unexpectedly contemplating middle school government leadership. My surprise quickly gave way to horror, however, when I found out that running required giving a campaign speech in front of the entire school. Some context, at age 13, I was painfully shy. I spent most of middle school hiding behind my blunt-cut bangs. A quiet, anxious bookworm, my parents literally had to confiscate my books to get me to play outside, where I had hidden more books just in case. I was the kid that parents and teachers liked to hang out with, but whose nerdiness other kids worried could be contagious. I was uncoordinated and awkward, and it didn't help that I towered over most of the kids in my class at 5'8". I had a few close friends, but I spent a lot of time on my own. And throughout my 8th grade presidential candidacy, a lot of time worried that my nomination was part of an elaborate hoax, a la Rachel Lee Cook's nomination for prom queen in She's All That. Inevitably, the day of the campaign speeches came. Shaking, I got up in front of the school and did the unthinkable. I performed a magic trick. In front of 200 middle school students. The details are fuzzy a couple decades later, but I remember that the trick involved pulling a red silk scarf from an ill-fitting, fake plastic thumb. Long story short, it did not go well. But I still remember the point I was trying to make. I wanted my classmates to know that, unlike the trick I had performed, I would be the real deal. I wouldn't pull any punches. I would be transparent, hardworking, and committed to them. Whatever my performance cost me in my already limited social capital, it was, at the very least, an earnest and heartfelt appeal. It was not, however, a winning one. The boy who won the election threw free candy at the crowd for the duration of his speech. I wish this didn't say as much about real-world politics as it does, but, well, here we are. Not the most auspicious beginning, nor one that ignited a passion for politics. In fact, as of 7 years ago, despite graduating from college with a degree in political science, mostly studying governments outside of the U.S., I had virtually no background in politics at all. I would describe my political participation up to that point as the bare minimum. Registered to vote and, mostly, voting in presidential elections, but engaging in no other meaningful way.